Hey, Blake. A couple of defensive linemen I wanted to ask you about. One, Quincy. You saw his ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week. He obviously has been great for you guys. Just you knew, I'm sure, coming in that he was going to be good. Has he been mostly what you expected, or has he even exceeded your expectations in some areas? And then Jared Harrison Hunt, who leads you guys in sacks, and obviously he's still relatively new to football. Just curious your thoughts on his development and maybe what that basketball background does for him.
Yeah, I think Quincy, the great thing about Quincy is he's gotten better and better every single week. He's really bought into what we're doing schematically. Every single week you can see him playing more and more into the scheme, which is really impressive. Every single week he's gotten better at doing that. And then the other thing that really stands out about Quincy is the leadership that he's really starting to show. It's always new when you come, to a new school and a grad transfer and expectations. And there's probably a lot of different, external pressures kind of in his role. But you can see how much more comfortable he is with our guys. And it shows in his leadership. Even with the offense, he was running up and down the sidelines, really, rooting for them the entire game. So from those standpoints, he's exceeded my expectations. From a physical standpoint, we knew what we were getting, and he's done a great job. He's got an innate ability to really rush the passer. He's slippery. He's very instinctual. Just a really, really good football player. So I've been really pleased with him, been really proud of him to watch him grow over the past, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And, I still think he's just scratching the surface of how good he can be, in my opinion. And same with, kind of echo the same sentiments as far as just scratching the surface of how good they can be is Jared Harrison Hunt. He is an athletic freak. I mean, he's 6'3", 285 pounds. I'm sure he can still dunk a basketball any way you want it. That was kind of the cool thing recruiting him was, going to New York City and obviously the mecca of high school basketball and watching him be the best player on the court. It's pretty cool. And now you see him playing defensive tackle for the Miami Hurricanes and watching that ability start to transfer onto the football field. It's been really impressive, but very, very proud of Jared. And, I think he's a testament of hard work and sticking with it, even through the tough times, because people have this expectation of him to be really, really good because of his athletic ability. But football, as we know, is much more than just being athletic. And he's really starting to trust his technique. And he's going to be a really, really good defensive tackle for us when it's said and done.
Coach, we've got David Ferrones from the Sun Sentinel. David?
Hey, Coach. Sticking to the D-line, I wanted to ask about Jonathan Ford. How's he doing? I know he's a consistent starter for you guys, obviously, and maybe he doesn't show up as much in the stats, but is his impact more also on, drawing blockers and, setting up other guys? And another question I wanted to ask is Keontre Smith. I didn't see him much in the second half. Obviously, he couldn't play the first because of targeting the week before. Was that also more, though, just because what Pitt was doing offensively late in the game, and you were in nickel a lot, of course, with Corey Couch out there?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened with Keontre is honestly, we didn't know Pitt was going to be that much 10 personnel, and then putting a nickel in there for that striker position probably limited his playing time. Like I always say, sometimes the game situation, personnel, there's different things that dictate a guy's playing time. So that's exactly what happened with Keontre. And John Ford's been really solid for us. Like you said, he's a big load inside. Sometimes he doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but he's doing a nice job for us, obviously occupying blocks. I think he's a guy that, offenses account for, because he is such a large man and he's doing a good job rolling off the ball and showing twitch. And, there's areas that he can improve in, and he knows that. But overall, he's been really, really solid for us over the first quarter of the season.
Coach, we've got David Lake from 24/7. David?
Sticking with D-line, I guess, Nesta is a guy that's taken his game to another level this year. Besides just him being healthy and him being an older guy now, is there anything you see, that he's developed in his game this year that's helped him take that next step?
Yeah, I think two things. I think one, I think he's really bought into trusting his technique. He gets on himself harder than anybody when he's not playing with the proper technique. He's always had the ability, but now shooting his hands, he is a disruptive force. He has taken his game to the next level from a physical standpoint, in my opinion, just from strictly technique, trusting the scheme, trusting what Coach Stroud's having him do, shoot his hands at his target, and he has figured out how disruptive he is when he does those things. The most impressive thing about Jade this season has been his leadership. I talked to him last night. I was as proud of him in that game yesterday as I've been since I've been here. A couple of times he got banged up and went into the tent and fought through those injuries. And I'm really impressed with what Jade's doing for us. Couldn't be happier. I think he's stepped his game up to an all ACC level. And, every week I challenge him to be the best defensive tackle on the field, regardless of who we're playing. And I think he takes that personal. So really, really happy with what Jade's done for us this far in the season.
Coach, we got Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald. Barry?
Hi, Blake. Speaking of defensive tackles, your four top guys were all in the 30s in snaps, pretty bunch close together. Has Jordan Miller done something to impress you guys in practice where he's now at a similar snap count as the other three guys?
Once again, I think it's going to be probably more dictated on who we play. I think a lot of our defensive tackles all have a different skill set, but Jordan's done a nice job for us. It was good to see him push the pocket and get in on a half of a sack. But practice time or practice performance dictates how much they play a lot of the times. And then, I feel good really about six. I think we have six guys inside that can play. And obviously the more we play different guys, the fresher they are and the better it makes us as a defense. So that's something that we've talked about. And I think it's starting to come to fruition once again. If they don't practice well, it's hard to put them in the game. But I think all those guys are practicing and they're feeding off of each other. They're practicing well and feeding off of each other. And it's something that, hopefully we continue to see evolve as the season goes on. But we want to play as many guys as possible on defense. And once again, you have to prove it in practice. And if you do that, good chance you're going to see the field on Saturdays.
Coach, we got time for a couple more. We're going to go to Daryl Streeter with Footballville. Daryl, if you had a question for Coach Baker.
Coach Baker, how you doing? Coach, I want to ask you, Bubba Bolden, is his play a surprise? And what's keeping him out of the starting lineup?
No, Bubba's he's probably been one of our best, if not best, defensive player, week in, week out. I say it every week, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I truly believe we have three safeties that can start anywhere in the country, and that's just really a testament to the unselfishness in that room. Bubba knows that. Gervin knows that. Amari knows that. So, they're going to rotate in and who starts, and the game will dictate who plays more, who's kind of got the hot hand, maybe who we're playing, maybe what schematically we're doing, because once again, they all have different strengths and weaknesses. So all that's kind of dictated the flow of the game, but we were very upfront with them at the beginning of the year, and it's going to be kind of one of those rotational deals. It doesn't matter who starts, in my opinion, and I think they've all bought into that.
Coach, last one for you. We got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead for Coach Baker.
Hey, Coach Baker. Wanted to ask you about the linebackers and your evaluation from this last game, and then to the point where they're at now. It seems like obviously it's become much more of a mix where a lot of guys are playing and splitting reps. Do you foresee it being that way the rest of the year, or can someone emerge here and maybe take on a bigger role?
Yeah, I think they decide that more than I decide that. I thought last week all four guys that played inside for us really played a pretty good game. It's been fun to watch Corey and Sam push, BJ and Zach, and I think it's made them better, and they know that. And it's going to be one of those deals where until someone emerges and becomes the man, we're going to play with all four of them. And I think all four of them honestly feed off each other and probably play better when their snap counts, closer to 50-50. At least that's what I saw last weekend. Could be one of those deals where a guy's out there and he's having a hell of a game and we'll roll with the hot hand. But I think all four of those guys have deserved to play and basically split time. And until one of them proves it otherwise, I think we'll kind of roll with that rotation.
And then if I could, as a quick follow with the linebackers, obviously it's a challenge in today's game to also have to play in pass coverage. I'm wondering of those four, who's kind of handled it or done the best job in pass coverage in your eyes?
I thought all four of them did a really nice job. Last week, I think Corey Flagg has an unbelievable feel. Just, we do a lot of pattern matching, and it's kind of one of those deals where he just has a really good feel for it. But overall, it's hard to pinpoint which one of the four's done the best. I think they've all done a good job, overall. But it's kind of hard to say this guy's been that much better than any of the three, to be honest with you.